Here's your playoff football news 12 now.
You don't have to cheat and look at your phone. The formula is simple.
You got to find a way to get it done.
It's win or go home time on this second round playoff edition of the Blitz.
We understand that we're liable to see them guys again.
It's the game of the century for this week. Rivals Wallace-Rose and James Kenan had their second slobber knocker in 3 weeks. Northside and Southside started the season against each other. Now one team will end its year against the other. And lots of teams back in action from bye weeks. We have highlights from West Craven, D.H. Conley, Jacksonville, Northside, Croatan, and many, many more.
You just got Blitz.
Hey, quit messing around. It's time to see who survived and advanced.
The Blitz starts now.
Hey, welcome into another award-winning edition of the Blitz. It's the second round of the state playoffs. No byes for anyone tonight.
Every team still alive was in action, so time to separate the pretenders from the contenders.
Time to find out who won the 2.0 rivalry game between Wallace-Rose and James Kenan, playing for the second time in 3 weeks.
It is our law offices of John Drew Warlick Blitz premier matchup. Tigers won 28-21 to win the Swine Valley Conference title Halloween night. Tiger mascot doing the worm up 13-7. Then C.J. Hill on the sweep. Give him a couple blockers in the green gloves.
Where did he put it?
Missed the extra point, so they'd go up 19-7. But Kevin Motzinger saying, Matthew Wells, I need you to go in and go to work. The quarterback looking for anybody but can't find anyone. Fresh off a QB keeper that went 15 yards. Number 15 kept it himself, almost trucked the defensive back and kept the Bulldogs moving. Tim Grady going, wow, I have not seen that from the quarterback since my guy Eli Avent. But on fourth down, how about the big stop and tackle from the Tigers, who would turn the ball over on downs? And Matthew Wells was injured on that last possession, and he was, just going, I wish we could have won this game. But C.J. Hill with the icing on the cake, breaking away once again. Another touchdown run. 2 on the night, leaping into the end zone. Tryouts Monday for basketball for Wallace-Rose with the sign in the background. As Wallace does not get the win, James Kenan wins back-to-back times, 26-7.
To play that game twice, back-to-back is very hard for any team, but that's a tough draw. And I praise the Lord we came out on the right end of it. So good to see another week. As Jeremiah Hall said, another day in the office, and they played their butts off, and here we are.
It means everything. We hate them, they hate us. I mean, that is what it's about, especially in the playoffs and at home.
Next up, they take on the winner of Ayden-Grifton and Whiteville. The Chargers and Wolfpack met in Columbus County, right next to the South Carolina border. That's about a 135-mile bus trip for Ayden-Grifton. And how about Loyalty Fuller staying loyal to the end zone for Ayden-Grifton? Getting that one in. Then John Fields, the quarterback, says, I'm going to take it in for myself. But maybe the MVP or Player of the Game award goes to Nigel Morgan with the interception. It was bobbled. He caught the football, and it was green grass in front of him to score all the way down for the touchdown. But Nigel Morgan wasn't done there. How about on the kickoff return to number 1? Would take this all the way back from the 10-yard line for a 90-yard house call. Ayden-Grifton on the road gets the victory over Whiteville, 27-26. That sets up a matchup at James Kenan next week.
Elsewhere in the 3A East playoffs, Martin County coming off a bye week. The Northeastern Coastal Conference co-champs hosted a Wake Prep team 8-3, and this was a tight ball game. Second half at the Swamp. Wake Prep in the white uniforms trying to get into the end zone, and they're able to do it, or at least down to the goal line on the nice play-action play. The Guardians of the Galaxy, not just the Guardians of Wake Prep, but here comes those Martin County Gators trying to snap right back into it, and they do on the touchdown by Jordan Mathewson, who's been playing really well here down the second half of the season. Then how about one more time? Mathewson and the Gators are able to pull it out as that is Josh Shepard, and they do it. 28-20, Martin County moves on.
Next up, they play the winner of Farmville Central in Louisburg. The Jags made the trip all the way out there. And how about thank you to Unity One Media for getting these highlights. Nice touchdown score from number 2 by Farmville, Bryant Dixon, the senior, finding his way into the end zone. On the road, how about Farmville Central playing some good football? They would have a running clock by the end of this game. Ron Cook was super impressed by his team once again, Bryant Dixon, and they get the win. How about this one? A 50-piecer, 58-27. Jaguars roll on the road.
On the other half of the 3A bracket, 14th seed Kinston hit the road. The Vikings traveled to Spivey's Corner to take on 3rd seed Midway, and it would be the Vikings who do all the hollering in this one because they've got Tyler Jones, leading passer in the state, and finding his receiver. Pat gets it in and scores for Kinston as they get the TD, and then who else but Tyreek Copper, the leading receiver in the state, headed to NC State, and he takes it in for the TD. And how about one more time? Tyler Jones handing it off this time to Elijah Sumter. And yep, all the hollering done by Kinston. They survive and advance on this one as they get the win at Midway, 34-13, doing it with a run game. Xavier Kroom and company, they move on. Next up, they're going to play the winner of the Princeton-Pasquotank game, and it is Pasquotank. So Kinston will be traveling to Elizabeth City for the next round. It was Northeastern, speaking of Elizabeth City, no problems in South Columbus, and Pender. They cruise over Hertford County, 6-0.
In the 4A playoffs, West Craven enjoyed getting some extra rest during their bye week.
The Eagles just hoping to not accumulate any rust for their 9-1 season.
They hosted Roanoke Rapids in a second-round game.
All right, let's check it out from Clay Jordan Stadium. The Yellow Jackets hoping to create some buzz, but West Craven had to wait 10 minutes before the offense finally got the ball. And then when they did it, second play, DJ Davis to Xavier Cuthbertson and the X-Man. This is going in the books as a 43-yard touchdown, though he weaved his way for about 125 when he finally was able to make it in for the quick 8-0 lead. Well, not really quick because Chris Lyons calling into plays. The Yellow Jackets just doing 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but every time they got down in scoring position, that West Craven defense would come to play and swarm the Yellow Jackets, and they're doing so without Emmanuel Miller, their big stud. Thinks he'll be back next week from that foot injury. With DJ Davis, 5 touchdown passes, 2 to Jerry Lee. That'll make his daddy happy. West Craven, they survive and advance 41-8.
Next up, they host either 10th seed Clinton or 7th seed T.W. Andrews. It looks like the Red Raiders are going to be heading to Vanceboro with a 36-17 win.
4A East 3 seed is East Duplin. The Panthers 8-2 this season donned their Navy helmets in Beulahville as they hosted the 6-5 North Johnston Panthers. And look out for those Panthers. They would score first. Caleb Pone, he is gone for the touchdown. And then East Duplin said, okay, time for us to get to work. Aaron Hall of the famous Hall brothers. He goes down the hall and out the door and to the box. And East Duplin on the board, and they were not even close to being done. Sean Davis, their big running back, he gets a head of speed going, and when SD gets rolling, not stopping him until he gets into the end zone. And then how about the defense? DJ Davis, Dwayne coming through with a nice interception to keep the Panthers out of the end zone, and Sean Davis out the door again. East Duplin wins at 48-20. Now they host Southwest Edgecombe, who beat Bern 29-24.
Elsewhere in the 4A bracket, North Pitt made the 3-hour drive to the Greensboro area to take on 5th-seeded Randleman. Thanks to A.D. Matt Goddard for getting us some orange highlights. And aren't you glad Sosa Clemens, he would have himself a big night running the football. 2 touchdowns for North Pitt in this battle of orange teams. But the orange helmeted Panthers get another TD from Braylon Wilson, and they win this one 38-23. Great road win for North Pitt going to the Triad. Next up, they're going to play either Carver or Central Davidson, and it was Central Davidson. They will now welcome North Pitt in next week. Eastern Wayne, the big shutout victory at Southwest Randolph. Boy, big night for the Three Rivers Conference, and Reedsville, #1 seed, no problem with this.
We have plenty more highlights to show you, including the 7A, 6A, and 5A playoffs. But first,
our Coastal Carolina Community College fans in the stands. Let's go back out to Vanceboro. I had trouble seeing these guys. It's bear hunting season, or maybe yellow jacket hunting season. West Craven and their rowdy fans, they'll be back at Jordan Stadium next week. Hey, thank you for watching the Blitz. We're just running around like crazy as we check in on the 7A playoffs, where D.H. Conley and New Bern are only area teams still alive. Let's start with Conley, fresh off a bye, getting ready to host its first playoff game since 2019.
The Vikings hosted the Southern School of Energy and Sustainability. So long you can't even say it right, we will call it Southern Durham.
Everybody still calls them that. They met at the Hollywood Crossroads just for fun. I put the Southern School of Energy and Sustainability in our graphic that's about to come up. D.H. Conley didn't care. They wanted to wear their yellow uniforms. Samari Cabell says, let's make it a brother highlight show. Shama Cabell gets it. That would set up Preston Harden for a field goal. Look, Southern Durham had come back, but that field goal gives them a 10-point cushion going into the fourth quarter. Nate Connor says, let's put this thing to bed. Check this out. Cabell, Samari, able to sneak out and get it to Jacob Stilley, and whoop, he gets by. And then Shama Cabell says, you know what, Samari, you're not the only guy who can throw it. Watch a little jet sweep. It's Shama who throws it to Anderson Thomas. D.H. Conley, they move on 44-32 over SSES.
Next up, they will play 14-seed New Hanover or 3-seed Clayton, and Clayton getting the shutout win 29-0. And Cleveland stomps on South Garner 55-3.
All right, meanwhile, Cleveland will take on the winner of New Bern Southeast Raleigh. The Bears made their first trip to the Bulldogs' house in 22 years. 2003, the last time they played at John H. Baker Stadium. Kyshawn Taylor said, no problem. I'll be able to give us some highlights here for the Bears. Out to the quick 7-0 lead. But then the Bulldogs come right back. Kobe Walker takes the return kickoff back for a touchdown. Just like that, we're all tied 7-7. Southeast Raleigh rolled from there at the goal line. NC State commit Christian Freeman takes it in for the 14-7 lead. Freeman had himself a day saying, get off me. And one more time, Freeman's going to take it in. And Southeast Raleigh ends New Bern season 62-28.
Let's slide over to the 6A playoffs, where Jacksonville is the #1 seed in the East.
The Cardinals, fresh off their first undefeated regular season since 1982. The Cardinals coming off that bye, trying to avoid any rust against Harnett Central. And there was a little rust because Harnett Central returned the opening kickoff. But then Jacksonville comes right back and takes it in for the score to equalize it. Is their quarterback for Jacksonville. That's Anthony Washington. And then how about Washington to the air. And this time he is going to find
Saron Thompson.
Saron Thompson for the score. One of the famous receiving Thompson brothers. And a little dance. And then how about some defense for Jacksonville, swarming that Harnett Central quarterback. And that was still about because the other way is Yandez Baker. Baker, the touchdown maker, celebrating with the fans. And Jacksonville rolls in this one. I will show AP one time, right? Amari Pearson just picked up a scholarship offer from ECU. Jacksonville rolls 52-12.
Next up, the Cardinals will host
Jacksonville will take on Scotland, where Bo Williams used to actually coach. So, other half of the 3A bracket, Whiteville, fresh off its first playoff win since 2004, travel to Rocky Mount to take on Northern Nash. And Whiteville, look at this. There's going to be a muffed punt that they're able to jump on. And just like that, the Vikings are in business. So Josh Smith looking for Elliot Pineda of the famous Pineda brothers. He gets in for the score. But after that, it was all Northern Nash. As Miles Eatman, he was eating up lots of yards. Northern Nash ends White Oak's season 48-14. Then you also have 71st with a 22-3 win over South Johnston in the playoffs.
J.H. Rose hit the road in the 6A playoffs. They traveled to Southern Alamance in Graham, east of Greensboro, wearing those white and green uniform combos. But Southeast Alamance, though, going right up the gut and scoring very quickly. And Southern Alamance continue to look good here. But how about J.H. Rose's number 20 on the breakaway run? That was Javion Jordan, the junior running back, getting the Rampants inside the red zone. That was just about all the highlights the Rampants would have, but wait for it, how about one more? Chase Davis rolling out, finding the open man for the touchdown, and number 80, I believe that is Webb Evans, the junior receiver. But this one, all Alamance, the Patriots, 55-36.
So Rose season ends. Next up for Southern Alamance, they're going to take on Middle Creek, who had no problems with West Brunswick. 62-20.
Let's go to the 5A playoffs. Northside Jacksonville, the 3 seed. The Monarchs hosted their first playoff game in 6 years, hosted the Person Rockets out of Roxborough, and Reginald Gray in for the touchdown. They call him 3J as his nickname. It took a little bit of deliberation, but finally the Monarchs were on the board. But the Person Rockets, they certainly took off. How about this giant Thomas, Elijah Thomas, down the sideline rushing touchdown. Person still not out of it, and they continued to shoot out of a rocket here. Person, here we go. More highlights from the team in white. Number 4 unloading, and another touchdown for the Rockets. And then, how about Northside Jacksonville getting the football back? Anoop Monroe in for the score, and the Monarchs getting the victory at home, 41-21 for the victory.
Surviving in the playoffs. Let's get to the West Carteret. They traveled all the way down 155 miles to St. Paul's on I-95, get off on exit 31, and you would see this game going on. As it would be St. Paul's out to the lead in this one. They get the touchdown on the Patriots, but look, West Carteret was sticking around as well. They said, okay, Shua McBride, you're going to score. We're going to try as well. Tanner Payne going deep and finding one of his good receivers, Juwan Tripp, who makes a nice trip into the end zone. This was a close game all night long. CJ Strupp, former ECU center, watching though as St. Paul's ends West Carteret's season in a close one, 46-32. A fumble return late was the difference in that one as West Carteret, boy, great season, record setting for Josh Bauman and company, but they fall to St. Paul's.
Also in the 5A playoffs, Dixon, fresh off its first ever postseason win, had to return to the Greensboro area, this time to face the 2-seed Northeast Guilford in Greensboro. Thanks to M3 Media for getting us the highlights. Dixon punching in the score, but how about the Rams though? Finding their way deep down the field for the touchdown catch, and this one, all Northeast Guilford. They get the win, ending Dixon's season 49-22.
Next up for them, they will play either South Granville or Rocky Mount, and it was the Griffons holding serve at home 28-6. Croatan, fresh off a bye week, hosted a C4 team that's in the 5A playoffs, and the Waterboy shirts are starting to multiply on the Croatan sidelines. First quarter, check out, nice catch by Patrick Miller in the back of the end zone from Kenan McBride. Nope, that was actually C4 getting on the board first. Here comes Croatan right back at it. Riley Robinson, the big senior, takes it all the way down to the 20, and that sets up the fan favorites. Mr. Boucher can't tackle in the phone booth, and he gets in for the score. That made it 14-7 Croatan. Andrew Gurley and company, they're looking good now. They survive and advance, and they're going to host a game again next week. 49-13 is the final. Who will they host?
Next up for Croatan, it's the winner of Havelock and Currituck County. The Rams made the 150-mile trip to the Northeastern most school in our state. And how about Havelock with the nice catch and touchdown? Good pass there. You can't really tell, but looks like who's that? Number 3 for Havelock is Zyking Patillo, finding his way down inside the red zone at the 15-yard line. Havelock on the road, taking care of business. And what was that final score?
This fan, 35-14. Havelock sets up the big rematch with Croatan next week. 2 other 5A playoff scores. Top seed Hunt, they will keep on playing, but barely. They had to struggle to beat Eastern Alamance, and Southern Nash will be the next opponent as they beat Southeast Alamance 58-39. Woo! We got a lot more to go, so stay with us on the Blitz. All right, let's try and catch our breath here. It's been a wild night here on the second round playoff edition of the Blitz. Time for our battle royale. North Duplin and Southside started this season playing each other.
The Rebels won that game in Blount's Creek 27-0. This time they played in Calypso. Where H.E. Grubbs Field is notorious for their neon ND sign to signify it's go time for Hugh Martin and his 9-1 Rebels. As Quan Stevens in a scrum up the middle, I couldn't tell, is he going to break free? And he finally did. 7-0. He had 96 yards and 3 touchdowns on the night for the Rebels. But then Andre Quinley saying, no worries, let's string together a good drive for the Seahawks. But coughing up the football, the fumble, Rebels recover. And who was pumped up on the sideline? Hugh Martin, loving his defensive effort. Then in the second quarter, Correll Phillips, the leading rusher for this team, capitalized with the stiff arm, get off me touchdown. 152 yards and 2 touchdowns for the senior as the Rebels shut out Southside 42-0, and Hugh believes his team can make a deep playoff push because of his fourth-year guys.
That group of seniors, their experience that they bring, we can make quick adjustments with them. They understand what we want. They do a great job preparing, and they've been a pleasure to coach. So whatever we're able to do is at their feet.
The Rebels will get another home game next week. They play the winner of rivalry game between neighbors Perquimans and Edenton-Holmes. Edenton feeling good. And number 4 finding his way in for the rushing touchdown for the Aces. And that would be Mason Byram in the huddle, trying to talk things over. And then another Edenton play, this time switching to the defensive side of the ball and getting the sack on the quarterback. The Aces flying around. And how about just another highlight from Mason Byram? Byraming in to the end zone. I don't think that's a word, sure, but we're going to make it up on the blitz here as Edenton gets the win, 55-16.
East Carteret made the 155-mile trip all the way to Gates County. That's next to the Virginia border. We sent our man, Mr. Mariner Macy O'Donnell, to be there to support his alma mater, and he was able to get us some pretty good highlights, including of Miles Shelton. They traveled for Miles. We're going to show Miles getting in for the score, but the Red Barons getting to play at home, and they're going to take to the air. That's Christopher Lee with the lollipop that is caught by Caden Blow. But Gates County would blow the lead because here comes Luke McIntosh. He had himself a game. The senior signal caller says, no, I'm going to keep it in a little okey-doke and in for the score. He eclipsed the 2,000-yard passing mark on the season, and East Carteret get it. Hey, roll, look at this score, 61-18, they get the win. Next up for East Carteret, they are going to take on those Warren County Eagles. East Carteret, another long road trip. They'll play at Warren County, thanks to that 36-6 win.
2A top seed Tarboro looking to take care of business. The Vikings put their 20-game win streak on the line against Camden County. Unstoppable and undefeated. Yeah, that pretty much sums up just Tarboro. Doesn't matter if it's 1A or 2A. That defense plays rock solid. Jeff Craddock somewhere over there on the sideline. Is how about number 24, Amarian Andrews? You think it's Cameron McDowell Moore with the football and the spin move? Nope, psych, just kidding. It's 2-4, busting his groove and getting in for the score. Tarboro getting the shutout win against the Bruins, 52-0. That's something Sweet Pea loves to see.
Next up for Tarboro at the Tarboro Invitational, they will host the winner of Lakewood Hobson. That Carolina Conference rematch goes to Hobson, 20-14. They get the thrill of now getting to go to Tarboro. Elsewhere, Manteo all over Northampton. And it was East Bladen big over Union. So Manteo and East Bladen will meet in the next round.
Now to the Blitz Extra highlights not seen on Friday night. Blitz because of a lot of this.
Let's face it, we had a million games to get to, and we couldn't get to them all. So let's now get to the 1A playoffs, because on YouTube we've got all the time in the world. The undefeated north side of Beaufort County is the 2C. They hosted Hobgood Charter, the Raiders making their first ever appearance in the playoffs. Thanks to Kelly Hewitt for this video of Sincere Columbus busting things out right away and sneaking his way into the end zone. Worked so well, why not try somebody else on that little bit of a jet sweep? And Deontay Moore takes it in. Well, Kelly is on it, shooting these highlights for us. And how about one more time for Mr. Columbus, sailing the ocean blue. And Northside does it. They stay undefeated on the season, and they get the win by the final of 48-7, as they will now be hosting a game in the next round. Who will it be?
Next up, the Panthers host the winner of North Edgecombe and Beargrass Charter. They played in Martin County tonight, and let's just say don't look at Max Preps for the final score of this game. You might be wrong, because Beargrass getting up and getting in for the touchdown. Is that Mr. Vance Keel?
Nope, Connor Clifton.
Nope, Connor Clifton, just kidding. But Beargrass having a nice little water break over on the side after going up big on North Edgecombe. The Warriors, though, trying to make a comeback here, but the football goes out. Is that a safety? I don't think so,
Riley
but
Thomas all over it, though.
Riley Thomas is all over it. Beargrass, there's Vance Keel and Coach Terry Perry on their undefeated season. And how about the throw and catch? This time it's to Keel, and he's got them within the red zone. Beargrass moving forward, and yeah, show off that Bears Superman. Beargrass gets the win. 49-14, Battle of the Undefeateds playing next week.
That's going to be awesome. On the other side of the 1A East bracket, you have Pitt Pride, the #1 seed. They keep rolling. They beat Sally B. Howard 48-7. Next up, they get the preseason favorite, Wilson Prep. Even though they have the 4 seed, they play such a brutal schedule, but they will be in that Eastern semifinal with the 64-2.
8-man playoff state semifinal. The undefeated Parrott Academy Patriots hosted Faith Christian. Undefeated. They already beat Faith Christian one time this year, trying to do it one more time. How about the nice little toss here to Braxton Lofton Myers, the North Lenore transfer, feeling good on the rush. Then Chris Stimson unloads the cannon, and he finds Ben Barrett downfield. And how about the flea flicker? Once again, Chris Stimson, but he's got Silas Rouse on the catch there. The big boy #2 was looking good, feeling good. The student section a little bit low right here on the cutaway, but I think they were pumped up from this one as the cheerleaders were enjoying themselves. But then Faith Christian on the other side would punch in a score. But this one was all Parrott Academy getting the win. 44-14. They will move on to the state championship game next week. And Brian, let's see who they're going to play.
It will be Cary Christian. They beat John Paul II for the second time this year. So that sets up Cary Christian, Parrott Academy. Parrott beat Cary once this year, handed them their only loss of the season. Now they're going to play Friday, but they're going to play this one on the turf at JCC. That's a lot to digest now. This second round of the playoffs felt more like the first round of the playoffs, but we had a lot going on here. We always like to say separating the contenders from the pretenders here. And right off the bat, we saw James Kenan in that really tough 3A bracket. Now, Kenan wins. Kinston goes on the road and gets a big win. And so that 3A bracket is looking like it's going to be a real good one, but James Kenan setting the pace here as the, number 3 seed? Is that what they are?
No, the 1 seed.
They're the #1 seed.
Yeah, so 3A goes through Warsaw and Bill Taylor Field. That's quite the atmosphere. The fans get into it. Tim Grady knows how to run. They even have an AI song that's about the Tigers, and you have to listen to it the next time you're there. It's hilarious.
All right, but now they've got Ayden-Grifton, who's not afraid of going on the road. That's a big win for them to go down to Whiteville and get the victory. Now they have to go to JK this upcoming Friday.
Super different offensive styles, but I like that clash of difference anytime you get to see them, because those two teams don't always play each other. So Garrett Wingate, his first year with Ayden-Grifton, proving people wrong. Tim Grady, those guys got off the bus last year after losing at Northeastern in the 4th round. They still have a chip on their shoulder. That's going to be one heck of a matchup next week.
In the 4As, West Craven holds serve at home. East Duplin holds serve at home. That 4A bracket is going to be pretty tough as well. So looks like everybody seed-wise, but the Three Rivers Conference with North Pitt going on the road and getting a win. And you have Farmville Central also going on the road and getting a win. So the Eastern North Carolina teams in that 4A bracket showing out tonight.
I think that goes with the whole where are you landing on the seedings and where do you go, because ENC has totally proved that tonight of all nights that even if you're on the road, ENC teams will show you that they're going to get the win.
At least in the 4A bracket. 5A bracket, man, we've got a rematch of rematches. Croatan and Havelock going to go at it in Broad Creek, where earlier this year Croatan beat Havelock for, I believe, the first time ever, and that was a really close game.
That was, I believe, a 14-7 finish. And Croatan, like you said, first time ever. Super emotional game for them. But that's when Havelock was still trying to put the pieces together and figure themselves out. Now this is a much improved team. Awesome. They're still going to have to come through Broad Creek, But man, so many good matchups
That's
next
going to be
week.
awesome. Northside Jacksonville, young team. We saw that growth of having to get through the playoffs, a really close game with Person, but they were able to get that win. We'll see. Now having that bye, they were able to get that win. We'll see if that fuels them here. But they're learning what the playoffs are all about at Northside Jacksonville.
And how about two young teams? Well, some old teams, but Keith Boyd has talked about how he graduated a lot of great seniors last year, but the seniors this year have stepped it up. Beargrass Charter having their first undefeated season ever. Two teams who have not lost once this year. One of them, I hate to be Booger McFarland, but one of them has to lose next week, and it's going to be a great matchup. Two rivals.
Thank you, Captain Obvious, Booger McFarland, on that one. And it's going to be also for the Eastern Regional semifinal. It's going to be for a berth in the finals.
Yes.
The 1As didn't have as many teams in. They're actually going to have a bye week before the state championships, so that's going to be interesting. And then you have in the 6A, Jacksonville looks good. They're undefeated still, and looks like they're going to be holding serve at home. And 7A, D.H. Conley. Good win for D.H. Conley. It's been a while now since they've won a playoff game. I think it was 2019 was the last time. And so good job by Nate Connor and the Cabell brothers. Even the younger brother getting to throw a touchdown tonight was pretty cool.
And the 2A as well. Don't forget Tarboro, of course, is just not losing.
It's the Tarboro Invitational. This is the only thing we have to ask. Will they not have a running clock in any of their games this year?
Well, if they see North Duplin, I still think that should be a good matchup. That defensive North Duplin looks really good time in and time out again. And watching Trayshawn Ruffin rough up a backfield, he's a legitimate force, the UNC commit.
He's great. He's got his signing day coming up soon to go to North Carolina. I'm just telling you, every coach in the 2A bracket, we're just praying they weren't on the Tarboro side of the bracket so they could stay in a little bit longer. East Carteret, B.J. Frazier is one of those. Great road win for the Mariners. So. But now they have to go to Warren County, another really long road trip. But a lot of fun here now as we get closer and closer. The big goal always to be practicing on Thanksgiving. And all these teams tonight, we're going to lose some helmets here in the Lemoore locker room. Less and less teams getting to have a chance to practice Thanksgiving morning.
Ah, that's so fun. Fun for you and I. We get to wake up that early and go cover the practice. So I usually don't wake up for a while.
I'm just going to go back and look at this show again. It was such a crazy night of all those games in the playoffs. A lot of fun. But that's a great thing about here on YouTube. You can watch it over and over again.
Please do. We need the views. We'd love to keep our jobs.
Thank you for joining us. So we'll see you next week on the third round playoff edition
of the Blitz. I was going to say, it was pretty good. I've been practicing the mirror.